The standing rib roast is an absolute thing of beauty, and coming into the holiday season, there's a good chance you might want to cook one of these. Now the thing is, it's probably one of the most expensive pieces of meat that you can cook, so you don't want to stuff it up. So I'm going to run you through how I do a reverse sear rib roast. I think the reverse sear is the foolproof way to do it, because if you try and roast this hot, you're going to have a big grey band on it. If you reverse sear it, you're going to be able to kind of control it a lot more. The trick to the reverse sear rib roast is to leave yourself heaps of room, heaps and heaps of room. And I'm going to run you through that, well, why through that. I'm going to run you through all the options, because there's different ways you can do it. There's like a faster way, there's a slower way. We're going to do the faster way today. In an ideal world, what you would do is you'd get your rib roast the day before you wanted to cook it, and you'd season it really heavily, just like I'm doing here, just salt all the way around, and then you would leave it in your fridge uncovered, and you're going to kind of reverse brine it, or dry brine it, I should say. The thing is with dry brining a big piece of meat like this is that you're actually, I'd be very surprised if you're actually going to penetrate the center of the rib roast with salt anyway, because it's such a big piece of meat. So don't be afraid to really get that salt on there. You're not going to over season it. It's almost impossible. If you haven't dry brined it, it's not a huge issue. Just do what I'm doing here. Get it out of the fridge once you're ready to go, and season it really heavily, and then just leave it on the roasting tray. Yeah, dry brine if you can. Honestly, it's not a huge deal if you don't dry brine it. Just season it earlier. The other thing that people often talk about is tempering it, bringing it up to temperature before you cook it or not. Again, I think you absolutely can. There's nothing wrong with that. But with this technique of reverse searing, we're cooking it in such a low temperature, I don't think it matters as much as if you're kind of cooking a big steak anyway. So dry brine, yes, if you have the time. If you haven't, don't stress, just salt it as soon as you can. Temper it, yes, if you have the time. No, don't stress if you can't, you don't have the time. It's going to take probably 6 or 7 hours to bring it up to completely ambient temperature. So I wouldn't really want to leave it out that far, but leave it out for a couple of hours before you cook it, no issue at all. Next, marinade. I like to keep it real simple. I think it is important to kind of add some other layers of flavor. You could reverse sear this like this, no problem at all. But it's, it's the holidays. We want to make it a bit fancy. So I'm going to put a little bit of salt. We don't need much because we've already got some salt on there. We've got some Dijon mustard in the bowl. It's about 2 tablespoons. Some garlic. And it's going to go lovely and sweet because we're going to cook this for such a long time. So I'm just going to finely grate some garlic into there. I've got 3 really big cloves, and I think that's kind of more than enough. In my Christmas video this year, which isn't out yet on the main channel, but it will be out soon, you're going to get the hot scoop. It's actually kind of about an Aussie Christmas. So we've done everything on the barbecue. So that's kind of why I decided to do this for this channel. And then I'll show you we're going to put it in the oven. It's going to be in there a while. I'll go do some work, and then we come back. We'll get Caitlin to come out and taste it and see if she thinks I've done all right or not. And some rosemary. Classic beef garnish rosemary. Works super well. I'm just going to get like 2 really big sprigs. Kind of that much, I guess. What's that, like a small handful of rosemary leaves? And we're going to run our knife through it. You can leave it coarse if you wanted to, but I think it's better. I think it eats better if you run your knife through it. I also think it kind of opens up the rosemary better, and you get more of those oils and stuff from the herb itself. So oven temperature. I've got my oven set to like 100, or actually 95 degrees Celsius, which is like 200 Fahrenheit. Now, I wouldn't go any hotter than that, but you could definitely go colder than that. Like you could go 60 degrees Celsius if you wanted to. It's just going to take longer. But the longer and slower you do this, the more even a cook you're going to have. and the less, I guess the less you're gonna lose when you kind of cut into it. So when I say lose, what I mean is like the less like liquid or moisture you're gonna lose. So I think, yeah, 95 or 100 Celsius or 200 Fahrenheit is about as kind of as hot as I'd go, and that's gonna give you the fastest result. And I do have it on a fan force, if you have a fan force oven. If you don't have a fan force oven, I'd still do it on 100, just as a static, but it might take a little bit longer. Lots of black pepper in there too, and a little bit of good olive oil. The olive oil is there just more as a binder, just helps you spread it over stuff a lot easier. So 2-3 tablespoons. You don't really need the fat. That's the beautiful thing about a rib roast, is it should have a lot of lovely fat. So we've got like a nice paste here. I'm actually going to add some more oil to that, just to kind of stretch it out a bit further. Okay, now we're going to get our rib roast, whether you've dry brined it or not. If you have dry brined it, it might need a pat dry. It's not as important as if you're cooking a steak. When you're cooking a steak, you want to pat it dry really well, because you're fighting the temperature of the pan to get a good crust. In this scenario, we're going to bring it up to temperature really slowly, and then we're going to rest it, and then we're going to cook it really hot to get that crust. So patting it dry is not as important, but certainly still, if you did dry brine it, definitely pat it dry a little bit. Start on the underneath. It's going to get messy. Spread it out all over the bottom. Get a little bit up in these ribs as well, not like on the ribs themselves, because you're not going to eat that, but that piece of muscle in between. And then we'll do the sides next. Just like that. Then we'll flip it over to the way it's going to be cooked. Like that. Now your butcher should have twined it, and the reason, if they haven't, and do it yourself, no issue. The reason you want it twined, and it doesn't even need to be super tight, is it just stops it from kind of unraveling and falling apart, especially once we go to really sear this really hard. It has a tendency to try and, like that cap, the spinalis, has a tendency to try and pull off, and if you've got some twine there, that should kind of stop that from happening. Okay. Make sure we use all this up, all over it. Done. Now, if you are, say you want to do this for lunch, and so you want to get it on first thing in the morning, and you don't want to muck around with this first thing, you absolutely can. Dry brine it the day before, if that's the case, or don't dry brine it, and then the day before you're cooking it, you can do this, put it in the fridge, and then in the morning you just turn your oven on and whack it in, so you're not mucking around half asleep before you've had a coffee with dirty hands. Let me wash my hands quickly. Then we'll talk about temperature. So this is one of those recipes that 100% requires a thermometer probe of some type. And there's a couple of different types, and either will work. One will be a bit easier than the other. So the first type, the one that I think every serious home cook should have anyway, is a simple thermopen, right? So, and then after about an hour and a half, you're gonna start checking the internal temperature using this. We'll talk about temperatures in a second. The other type is one like this, a Bluetooth one. So this is by another chef here on YouTube, Chris Young. Chris is a legend. I really like his videos, and he has done this. I think it's called a predictive thermometer. Not sponsored, I paid for this. I love supporting other YouTubers where I can, and I think it's a really good product. However, I do understand that these things aren't cheap. So you can pick one of these up for like 20 bucks here in Australia. These things are a lot more expensive, but they do just make it a little bit easier. So straight in the center with that. We'll put it in the oven, and then I'll talk about temperature. In she goes. So, temperature. I will take that to an internal temperature of 48 degrees Celsius. And that's the beautiful thing about this thing, is that you can set that to 48 degrees Celsius. This thing will start beeping, and I'll know to pull it out and rest it. So once we get to 48 Celsius, we're going to pull it out and we're going to rest it. It's going to carry over cooking another few degrees. If you want it a bit more rare, you could take it out as early as 46 degrees Celsius. If you want it a bit more medium, I'd leave it in there till about 52, 53 and then letting it rest. The resting period is really important. It's at least an hour and a half to rest it, if not longer. And I highly suggest if you have the time to do it longer. Anything over 2 hours, and I reckon you need to rest it in something like a cooler, like an esky, or like a chili bin, as we call it in New Zealand. Or you can even, if you have an oven or like a hot box, put it in that. You can do it like we're going to do today. So we're just going to rest it at room temperature for like an hour and a half. But we'll talk about that when we get to it. At the moment, that's at 3 degrees, the internal temperature of that piece of beef, and we need it to get to 48 degrees. So I'll start a timer, and I'll let you know I'll start a stopwatch, sorry, and I'll let you know how long it takes, and then we'll come back and talk you through the rest. We'll see you soon.
It's ready. And it only took 4.5 hours.
Okay, let's get it out. Hey, calm down you. Enjoy. Enjoy. Time to rest. So that took way longer than I thought, to be perfectly honest. It literally took 4 hours and 25 minutes. So I'm gonna rest that for 1 hour exactly, just to see what happens. Honestly, in real world, I suggest you rest this for at least 2 hours, just like this, room temperature for 2 hours. At 1 hour, I'm pretty sure what's gonna happen is that when we slice it, we will get a little bit of like blood loss, or it's not blood, someone's gonna correct me in the comments, it's myoglobin or whatever. I'll rephrase that, a little bit of moisture loss. However, I don't think it's that much of a big deal. It's just kind of nicer to get that rosy pink all the way through. But yeah, like I was saying earlier, you could rest this for 1 hour like we're gonna do today, 2 hours, all the way up to 6 hours, no problem. If you're resting it over 2.5, 3 hours, I suggest that you'd put this in like a Cambro, which is a catering thing that it's just basically a polystyrene box. But you can use any kind of polystyrene box or like an esky or something like that. I suggest you pull it out if you're going to do that. Just leave it for half an hour just to get some of that ambient heat from the outside that's going to be hotter than it is in the middle, just to get that to come down a bit. And then I'd kind of put a piece of paper on it and some foil and then put it in your Cambro or your esky. Leave it there for 3 or 4 hours, no problem. If you've got a warming drawer, I'd set your warming drawer to like, well, 40 degrees, no hotter, maybe 45. You don't want it any hotter than what your internal temperature kind of is. So maybe set it to 50, no problem, and then leave it. Yeah, I'll kind of keep an eye on this to see where the temperature peaks. I suspect it's going to peak at about 50 degrees and then it will start coming down, but we'll soon find out. We're going to rest it for 1 hour. The last 15 minutes, I'll turn the oven right up to 250°C and we'll put it in for another sort of 15 minutes just to get that outside crust, and then we'll have a taste. See you in 1 hour. So that has been resting for pretty much exactly 1 hour, and it actually peaked way hotter than I thought. That peaked, I don't know if you can see that, at 54 degrees Celsius. So that's risen 6 degrees. So it was 48 when we pulled it out, it's now at 54, and in an ideal world, I reckon that needs another hour rest at least. But hey, let's see what happens. Often in life, it's not an ideal world. So my oven is preheated now to as hot as it can go, which is 230 degrees Celsius in that oven. I'm gonna shove it in there for 15 minutes, or until it's got a really nice golden color, and then we'll pull it out. Hot tip, it's gonna get smoky. So open a window, turn your extraction on, because this will get smoky. Wowzers. All right, 15 minutes on the dot, and look at that. Some might say stunning. Now, I'm gonna let that cool for like 2 or 3 minutes because I don't want to burn myself when I try and carve it, but you can effectively carve it at this point. I'm going to put it onto this board, and then we're going to take a pretty photo of it, and then we'll get Caitlin and carve a couple of slices and see what it tastes like. Board seems like it's a bit small. Ah, it's hot. Gotcha. All right, we're back, and we've had a plate change because someone's arrived, and she didn't like the first plate.
Well, you had brown on brown on brown, so I just thought it would look better on the white plate.
It's okay.
It looks amazing though.
Looks pretty good, doesn't it?
It feels,
You requested this.
I did.
Why? Because you want to eat it, or you want
No,
it on the
I
website?
wanted it on the website. I think someone else requested it maybe. I want this recipe for the website.
Let's see how well I've done.
Perfect timing as well because this feels very festive.
Yep, holiday season and all.
Yeah. Smells very, very good. Duck is licking his chops.
Look at that, and I think you're gonna watch. It'll come a lot more rosy as it kind of sits there for a bit, but that is about as good as it gets. The other thing is you'll notice it is kind of losing all of its liquid quickly, and that's because we haven't rested it as long as we should have, like I've talked about.
Ah.
But that's not an issue. It's just that when you serve it, you're going to put it on the plate, and you are going to have a bit of
Juice.
juice on the plate. I
Yeah.
don't think there's anything wrong with that at all.
So how long should have you rested it for?
I think if you rested it for another hour, you would have completely, you will like eliminate any of that happening. But that was exactly 15 minutes in the hot oven, and yeah, I'm pretty happy with that cook. I think that's about as bang on as it's going to get.
Wait, I only spent 15 minutes in the oven.
Well, if you joined us from the start,
You forgot to tell me it was on. I was working away thinking, what are we doing the vlog? It's getting late.
been in the oven for most of the day, but
Oh, okay.
we reverse set it. So yeah, but let's have a little cut from the side
Okay.
and have a taste. See what you think.
Okay. We're gonna ducks in here for as well.
Okay. Look at that.
Whew.
We've eaten a lot of meat this weekend.
Yeah. Actually, I had a lot of fish.
Well, yeah, that's good. I
Yeah.
cooked fish.
You
Josh
did cook
Nolan,
fish? Yeah.
obviously.
Your fish
cooked
was very good.
Nathan, obviously cooked fish.
Yeah.
All right.
Yummy fatty piece.
Thoughts?
Yeah, I really like it. What's on the outside? What did you season it with? What herb? Rosemary?
Yeah. Mustard, rosemary, salt, pepper, garlic. Yummy,
Oh,
huh?
yeah, I can taste that mustard. It's nice.
All right.
Really yummy.
There you go.
It'll be on the website, so you can cook it.
On a white plate.
You can cook it for Christmas.
That's how I make a rib roast. It's perfectly cooked every time. Doesn't require crazy, piece of equipment or anything. Just your home domestic oven. A thermometer, super important. And just a reminder, rest it, rest it, rest it. Super important. The longer you rest it, the better it's going to look on the plate. That's it.
And then for the people that are worried about if it gets cold, you can
gonna go back in the oven.
flash it in the oven.
She does listen.
I do.
Thanks, babe.
You're welcome. Do you want a little bit? I probably shouldn't give you any of this, Duck. Here, we'll get some that's not on the outside. Oh, I've butchered this. Sorry, buddy. All right, we got that. Yeah, I'll do this a little bit. There you go. Is that good? Duck approved?